A shooting suspect is taken into custody. The police service works to fulfill an OIPRD recommendation. And we're less than a week away from the federal election. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay Police have now made an arrest in connection with last week's shooting on D Street. 48-year-old Holly Papassé was the subject of an arrest warrant following the incident on October 8th, which sent a male victim to hospital. He was released several days later. Police said the shooting was drug-related. Officers took Papassé into custody around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon at a McLaughlin Street address. She appeared in court this morning on one count of attempted murder. Papassé remains in custody and will appear in court again tomorrow morning. The City Police Force's Major Crime Unit continues to investigate the shooting.
A 71-year-old Thunder Bay man is back in custody following his previous convictions for child pornography and sexual interference. Michael Daniel Busick turned himself into police on Sunday and was charged with breach of probation. Busick spent nearly a year in prison after his latest arrest in 2018. He had been free on probation since September 30th, with orders prohibiting him from attending parks or public areas where children under 16 are likely to be present, along with school grounds, daycares, and community centers. City Police had received calls that Busick attended a community event at a local retail store where children were present earlier this month. He remains in custody with his next court date set for tomorrow.
The Thunder Bay Police Service has taken a major step toward fulfilling the recommendations of last year's OIPRD report. The deaths of 9 Indigenous people in Thunder Bay will be reinvestigated after the review found systemic failings in the original probes. The Police Services Board discussed that issue today, along with the Police Service's 2020 budget and its annual report. Carmen Wong has the details.
A multidisciplinary team has been formed to conduct the reinvestigations of 9 deaths in Thunder Bay, as recommended in the OIPRD report that determined racist attitudes undermined the original probes. 4 of the 9 cases being reviewed are also part of the 7 youth inquest.
I know some of these families personally, and I know they've suffered for a long time, and this may be a last opportunity for them to get the answers that they've been looking for.
The blended team will be led by a retired OPP detective inspector who will work with a group of police service investigators and Anishinaabe representatives. The chief coroner for Ontario, Dr. Dirk Heyer, will also take part. He says the goal is to better understand the circumstances of the deaths and in turn help change the approach to investigations in the city and even the province.
At the start, reaching out to the families to understand additional questions the families may have, other areas that they feel have not been explored, and then that will set the stage for what investigation needs to occur.
Among the aims of the reinvestigation, Grand Chief Alvin Fiddler says it's to restore confidence in policing among the affected families and communities. He says families will be supported if they choose to participate.
Whether it's language or emotional supports, mental health supports, that they will have confidence in the process and will engage in these reinvestigations.
Heyer says he hopes to complete the reinvestigations by next July. In other business, Chief Sylvie Hoth presented the service's 2020 proposed budget. She requested an increase of 3.6%, which is about $1.5 million. She says the reduction in provincial grants, deficits in the overtime budget, and costly OIPRD recommendations have made budgeting difficult.
It's a very big juggle to make sure that as a service we are meeting the needs and the safety of our community, but also being responsive to the recommendation.
The police service is requesting over $470,000 to continue addressing new and ongoing recommendations. During the meeting, the 2018 annual report was also presented. The service received over 51,000 calls last year, but only 17% were violence-related. Hoth says more partnerships need to be formed to deal with the city's substance issues.
When we don't have enough beds at detox, or we don't have a place to bring somebody outside of the police station with a ticket in hand, it's still just a Band-Aid solution that doesn't fix the bigger picture.
Carmen Wong, TBT News.
3 Thunder Bay landlords have been given hefty fines for violating the fire code. The individuals were ordered to pay a total of $12,000 for 16 fire code infractions. And one of the landlords was given an extra $6,000 fine for obstructing a fire marshal's inspection. No details were released about the buildings involved. Fire rescue officials want residents to be aware that if they are living in a building with a fire alarm system, the landlord should be conducting monthly and annual tests.
With the federal election fast approaching, a local group is advocating for more females in Ottawa. The Women in Politics group held a small rally today, urging voters to strongly consider female candidates on the ballot. The rally encouraged women to use their vote to ensure the issues that impact them become more of a priority for the next federal government. 6 out of the 17 candidates vying for election in the 3 area ridings are female. Thunder Bay City Councillor Rebecca Johnson is the spokesperson for the group. She says she's encouraged that more women are seeking out political office this time.
We are now seeing more women are saying, I don't like what's going on. I need to change. I need to make a change, and I need to be the changer. And so they're saying, you know what, it's time that I stepped up and created that opportunity for myself, but also for my community.
She says since 50% of the population is female, it's important for the makeup of the federal government to reflect that.
The group that had been working to build a new privately owned indoor sports bubble off of Burwood Road has announced that it won't be able to deliver that facility in time for the upcoming indoor season. The general manager of the Goal Sports Centre 2 issued a media release late this afternoon blaming city zoning regulations for the delay. Carmen Felice says they will continue working on the project once the rezoning process is complete. Meanwhile, today marked the official opening of Marshall's at the Intercity Shopping Centre. The new store is filling a portion of the former Sears space that had been sitting vacant for nearly 2 years. Hundreds of eager shoppers lined up outside the mall this morning, waiting as much as 2 hours for the doors to open. Corey Nordstrom has more.
As Marshall's staff readied for their store's grand opening, many patient shoppers gathered outside to get the first chance at their merchandise. And some of those in line showed up very early.
What time did you get here?
7 a.m.
Michelle Williams says she visits a Marshall's store wherever she travels and was excited with one opening here in Thunder Bay.
They have good items. Oh, we shop a lot when we travel. We go to a lot of places, so you don't stay in the hotel. Go out and shop, shop, shop.
And more than 100 others took part of their morning to see what Marshall's has to offer, with a line wrapping past the end of the mall. And when they were allowed entry, those waiting were finally able to let their curiosity run rampant to see what lines these shelves and racks.
We've been here since 8:15, yes. We want to see what different products they have and brought to Thunder Bay, which will be nice for us.
The mall's new anchor tenant takes up over 20,000 square feet of space, stocked with name brand clothing and home decor. Intercity Shopping Centre General Manager Stacy Ball says this fills a significant void left by the closing of Sears.
Marshall's fills 40% of the main floor of the shopping center, and we think that it is going to obviously bring a new customer back to the shopping center, an excited customer, and it just creates some extra excitement here at Intercity.
Marshall's is using just under half of the former Sears space. Ball says she can't disclose what might be next for the remaining 60%.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you at this point. We continue to work on those plans for the balance of the main floor of Sears, as well as perhaps a phase 2, which would be the second level of Sears.
Officials from Marshall's were not available for interviews at the grand opening. Corey Nordstrom, TBT News.
Meantime, a retail franchise that's long been rumored to be coming to Thunder Bay has been announced for our sister city of Duluth, Minnesota. According to U.S. media reports, Costco has filed conceptual plans for a site not far from Miller Hill Mall. The company, however, has made no public announcements about its intentions. Duluth has been rumored to be in Costco's long-range expansion plans for several years. The closest Canadian cities with Costco wholesale stores are Winnipeg and Sudbury.
A section of Vicker Street will be closed to vehicle traffic for roughly a week starting today. Storm sewer work has now begun on Vickers between Wiegand Avenue and D Street. Construction crews will be closing stretches of the road with only local traffic allowed to enter at each end. The big job is scheduled to take 5 days, but weather could play a factor on timelines. Motorists are asked to take alternate routes if possible and to obey posted signage.
Volunteers with the Regional Food Bank were hard at work today, unloading, weighing, and sorting all of the donations from this weekend's Harvest for Hunger food drive. It's believed to be the largest haul ever from the RFDA's signature event. More than 13 tons of food was donated by shoppers at 15 grocery stores, as well as more than $17,000 in cash. Community Services Manager Brendan Carlin says the annual Harvest for Hunger is critical as it sets the agency up well as the temperatures begin to drop below the freezing mark.
Over the summer, our stores get quite low. People are traveling or on vacation, what have you. So we really use this to boost things up again, heading into the holiday season. Like Thanksgiving is a really important time, and then into the Christmas season. So yeah, it's really vital because these pallets were all empty just last week, and now we're starting to fill them back up again.
The RFDA's next big food drive is its Stuff an Ambulance event later this month. Of course, the agency accepts donations every day at the distribution center on Syndicate Avenue, as well as monetary contributions online.
Officials in the municipality of Nebing unveiled their newest display this afternoon, which will occupy the front of the township's municipal office. An open house was held to celebrate the newly constructed entrance sign and home wagon, which were inspired by a book series written by American author Bob Parent. Summerheim Journey is a 6-part series that Parent says she started in 2010 after finding inspiration while touring through Canada. Much of the series' content stemmed from this region.
I brought a young friend up here because she wanted to see Canada. She was working in Grand Marais for the summer, and we saw the word Nebing. And we decided they were small and furry and wily and elusive and mischievous, but basically tender-hearted. And I was going to write a short story for her, just so she could get mail on her summer job, and I ended up writing chapter 1.
They sent me the book, I read it, and we had a vision right away, and I knew that I had to contact Luc Desprez to make it come to life. So we worked on it all summer, made sure that we had the design that was true to what the author wanted.
Nebing Mayor Erwin Butikoffer says there are already plans in the works for the home wagon. Officials hope to send in an application to have the caravan included in this year's Rotary Santa Claus Parade in Thunder Bay.
Well, if you were an early riser, it was chilly.